Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another video. I wanted to make a video and talk about something that it's uncomfortable for me to talk about. It's something that I don't want to have to talk about, but it's something that every single one of us, have to face. I want to talk about the future of MLP, the future of the fandom, and the future of people within the fandom. At the time of me doing this video, it is March 19th. It is a mere 4 days away. Today is Monday. It is a mere 4 days away from the premiere of Season 8 of Friendship is Magic. 8 years. 8 years this show has been on. And the fandom has been around since probably 2011, maybe very late 2010. I've been a part of this fandom since 2011 or 2012. I've been here a while. Not as long as some others, but I have been here. I have been in this fandom for longer than some other people have. Again, but I haven't been here as long as other people in the fandom. But at the time of me doing this video, I am very much aware of the leaks. I found out that there were leaks for, and whether, I'm not 100% sure if they're true or not, but I think it's a safe bet to say that they are, or at least to go by them anyway, and that MLP will end after the 9th season. Supposedly, MLP FiM will end after the 9th season. And which means just two more years. 2 more years of Pony. 2 more years of the show having brand new episodes. 2 more years of content from the fandom. And which the show is supposed to end in 2019. And in late 2019 or in 2020, Generation 5 or G5, MLP G5 is supposed to make its debut. And I saw some sketch art, some leaked sketch art for what the characters may look like. But a lot of people, I know this is and I know other people have done. I know other people have done videos, no doubt. I do know some other people have done videos talking about this as well, about what the future might hold for the show, especially for the fandom. For the show itself, I predict that the show will definitely continue, that MLP will continue to run on Discovery Family for years after the final episode. The fact is, MLP is one of Hasbro's most popular titles. It is pretty much, whenever you think of a company, there are characters or things that are pretty much the flagship or the poster character or the poster boy for that company. For Disney, you think of Mickey Mouse. For Looney Tunes, you think of Bugs Bunny. For Sega, you think of Sonic. For Nintendo, you think of Mario. And for Hasbro, you think of My Little Pony and Transformers. And Transformers and My Little Pony are both 2 very popular brands for Hasbro. I really don't see Hasbro deciding to take the show off the air later on, because it's one of their flagship titles, and that would basically be taking out one of their main battleships. So I really don't see that happening. What I imagine is kind of like with Littlest Pet Shop. The show will continue to run years after the show is over. But as time goes on, we will see, I predict, a decline in the amount of times that the show is on TV. Not because they're cutting back on it, but because, if it comes on 4 times one day and 4 times in one day, I predict that they will cut that back. They'll cut back 1 or 2 of those rerun times Because as time goes on, there will be other shows, new shows, that will begin to take those time slots. They will always have the show rerunning, but the time frames may change. They'll bounce around. I don't see the show, considering how popular that the show is, I really don't see the show ever going off the air, which is a great thing, because the show will continue to rerun. There are plenty of shows that rerun on TV right now that have been over for decades. But then there are also shows that ended that ended several years ago, and they went off the air. You never see them anymore. And it's very unfortunate for those shows, but I predict that MLP will not fall. I predict that MLP will not fall into that category. I do predict that it will continue to rerun on TV for quite some time, which is a good thing, like I said, because fans will still continue. We will still be able to watch the show. And at the time, instead of looking for brand new episodes, we will be able to reminisce. Every episode will have memories associated with it of the first time that we watched that episode, of maybe watching the episode and then the same day, maybe just a few hours later, seeing artwork of a new character appearing and thinking to ourselves, that was fast. Or being inspired by an episode to do art or do fan fiction or do music. Every single episode will have a memory, and so every time that we watch it from that point on, it will be like going back in time. Plus, will there be new members, new bronies and Pegasisters coming into the fandom? I'm not sure. I imagine that there will be a few, but it won't be like it is now. Now, the biggest question that a lot of people I know are asking. Now, we all knew that MLP was going to end. Even back whenever I started my channel, I knew that at some point, the inevitable truth was that the show was going to end. And it kind of goes with that old saying that nothing lasts forever. As much as many of us wish that it could have kept going on, we knew in our hearts that it was going to end. I knew that it was going to end, but I never wanted to think about it. Instead, I wanted to focus on the present. I didn't want to think about the future. I wanted to focus on the present and live in the present. And here we are, 2 years away from the show's final episode. And I know some would say, well, that's 2 years away, that's still a little ways off. Maybe so, but look how fast the past 7 years have flown by. 7 years ago, this show premiered. 7 or 6.5 or 6 years ago, this fandom got its start. And here we are, 7 years later. And we are on the brink, we are on the edge of the Season 8 premiere. 8 years. Time has flown by so fast. It seems like, I still have memories of whenever I was just getting into the fandom. It seems like just last week, I was announcing to myself that I was a brony. Just last week, I was deciding that I was going to start my YouTube channel. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago. 7 years have passed. And here we are. Those 2 years will fly by before we know it. And so I want us all, while we can, to hold on to what time we've got left. Cherish the time that we have remaining while the show is still going on. Let's all cherish the last 2 seasons that we have to come and the time in this fandom. Let's all cherish it, because it'll be over. Let's all cherish that. Now, I know the biggest question that people are wondering is, what will become of the fandom? What will happen to the people within the fandom? What will happen to the fandom itself? I have some theories about what could happen. And the truth is, I believe that the fandom will begin to dissipate. That is an inevitable truth. Because while the show itself has new episodes, the show itself is pretty much what's keeping the thing alive. I am a part of different fandoms, not just MLP. Danny Phantom, Supernatural, Doctor Who, just to name a few. And I remember how it was whenever Kim Possible ended, Danny Phantom ended. Whenever the show itself ends, fans begin to spread out. They still hold on to the show, but they go on and they begin to do their own thing. And it will begin to dissipate because every fandom does. The people that are within this fandom now will begin to spread out. I'm not saying that, friendships will fall apart, that people will separate from each other. I'm not saying that, no. I'm saying that people will go on to do their own thing. They'll find other shows that they love, and they'll begin to do things with that. And that's cool. But some will put they'll put the fandom in their past. And some will move on and never look back. Others will hold on to that. Others will hold on to the fandom. And they'll keep the fandom, the show, and the people in the fandom within them forever. As I said, I've seen it with other fandoms. The people will begin to spread out. There will be, and I predict this, there will be a decline in fan-based works. I do predict that we will see less fan fiction, less fan art, less music, and less fan-made animations. I do predict that we will see less of each of those. But I do predict that there will never be a time, just like with other shows, there will always, and this is something that we can find comfort in, and this is something that I predict, there will always be some new content out there, some new fan-made works. If you look, even though it's been years now since Kim Possible, since Danny Phantom was over, there is still fan art, there is still fan fiction being made today. And there are still fans like myself. Butch Hartman has his own YouTube channel now. I didn't know that till like a couple of weeks ago. But there have been people even now asking, up until he quit, up until he left Nickelodeon, there were still people asking him even up to that point, would there be a new season of Danny Phantom? And so there will still exist fans. Even 5 years, 10 years after MLP is over, there will still be fans. And I will be one of them. This is my prediction for what will happen whenever MLP ends. Whenever the final episode makes its debut, there's going to be a big build-up. There's going to be a big build-up. We're going to see promos for it on TV. And they will have that inevitable thing that we're going to hear on TV, the series finale. It won't be the season finale. We're going to hear the series finale. And it's going to be heartbreaking to hear that, but I do predict that it's going to be a must-see event. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we get to watch that episode. And there will be live streams, streaming it, I know. There will be people in chats watching the episode. And there will be artwork showing, there will be artwork, I know, for the new G5, which won't even be out at the time. There will probably even be fan fiction starting about it. But I do predict that there will also be artwork and fan fiction and possibly music as well. That will be about the end. About it all coming to an end, and possibly about moving on, about the hopeful future. And I predict that there's going to be a lot of tears shed. Not because of the episode itself, like the final episode might be emotional for us anyway, but it will be emotional, I know, because we will know that that's the final episode. And there's going to be a lot of tears shed. Heck, just thinking about it, I can feel the mist in my eyes right now. But I predict that it's going to be a must-see event. And there's going to be so many tears shed. There's going to be a lot of crying because it'll be over. And I predict that, we will want it to end. Whenever we get to that second to last episode, we will want that week to last forever. Because we won't want that final episode. And I imagine that there's going to be some people that will not watch the final episode. Just because they know that whenever they watch it, it'll be over. And so they won't watch it, just so they can hold on to that just a little longer. But I predict that a lot of people will watch it. And we're going to rejoice. There's going to be a lot of us that will rejoice because we stuck through all the way to the end. We watched it all that time. And I can feel myself getting misty-eyed right now. We're going to rejoice for the ending. Because 9 years strong. And we were there through most of it, if not all of it. We're going to rejoice for 9 years of the show and like 8 years of the fandom, of the joy, of the happiness, of the laughter. And after the episode, it will be the big talk for like the next week, at least the next few days. People will be talking about the episode. They'll be talking about the show, about how it ended. I predict there's going to be people, too, that will be saying that the ending wasn't as strong as it could have been. That it went out, that it was lackluster. It was lackluster, it was, that it was a letdown. But then some of us will sink in, I predict this, that some of us will sink into a bit of depression. Because the rest of the future for us will seem dark. Because we'll know no new episodes. And so the only thing that we will have will be fan fiction. And some of us will turn to fan fiction to get our fill. Which some of us do that now, but we'll turn to fan fiction to get our fill. To see what new adventures the characters will go on in fan fiction. We'll turn, some may even start writing fan fiction to carry that on. And at that point, there's going to be a void. There will then be a void inside of many of us that we won't be able to close. Because no new episodes. And it will seem dark. We'll begin to wonder what will happen to the people in the fandom. And like I said, some will depart. I do predict that there will be some people who stuck through all the way to the end. They'll go off and do their own thing. Some will never look back on the fandom. They'll never look back on anything that they've done in the fandom. But some will. Some will go on, find another show that they love, and begin to do fan fiction, fan art, music of that. will there ever be a show that had the creativity? Will there ever be a show like MLP that spawned the fandom, such the creative fandom? I don't think so. I really don't. I predict that, like I said, we will see a decline. And as much as I don't want to believe that, we will see fan-made works disappear. People will move on with their lives. They'll put MLP, they'll put the fandom behind them. And some will want to forget about it. You know, like, some will, instead of keeping that save file for the first time you play through that game and starting a new one, but keeping the old one, they'll just delete the old one. And that's what they'll do here. They'll delete what they did. Fan-made works at that point will, as they are now, any fan-made work, regardless of what it is, will become a time capsule for many of us. They'll take us back in time to the first time we saw it, the first time we read it, the first time we watched it, the first time we heard it. And I predict that while there will be people that will leave the fandom, there will still be people that will still be part of the fandom. Will the fandom cease to exist? I believe yes and no. The fandom, at that point, once the show ends, the fandom will not be as strong as it is now. I don't believe that. I don't believe that it will be as strong as it is now. There will still be people in the fandom that will hold on to the fandom. They'll hold on to the show. But there will be a decline in what we see in the fandom activity. And a lot of people I know are wondering, what will happen to the people that we've come to know within the community? What will happen to them? Will they stay? Will there still be brony analysts? Will there still be MLP fanfiction readers? Will all the artists, will they still exist? Will the musicians exist? Will the fanfiction writers exist? Will the YouTubers exist? Again, that is a yes and no answer. Some people, I believe, will keep their names. I believe some people will keep their names and they will still stay a part of the fandom. They'll still be fans of the show and they'll still hold on to that. But I do predict that some people will change their name on their accounts, on YouTube, DeviantArt, whatever, as they'll begin to focus further on new content, on new things that they're doing. I do predict that some of the people in the brony community that we watch and listen to now, some of the brony analysts, I do predict that some of them will depart from the fandom. And they'll move on, maybe start doing analysis, maybe start doing reviews and analysis on another show. Maybe start doing analysis, theories, things like that, on characters in another show. Have discussions, things about that. Some will begin to do artwork and fan fiction about that show. And some will begin to do music about that show. What will become of their old stuff? I hope that it would stay up. I would hope that people would take that into consideration to keep up all of the old content so that we can always go back to it and reminisce. Because I don't want to forget about the past. And I know many of us don't either. I know many of you don't. We don't want to forget about the past. Being a part of this fandom has been a wonderful experience for me. And I know not everybody can say that. But still, those of us who are still here, I want what exists in the fandom to be preserved so that we can continue to view it years later? How many of the people in the fandom that exists now will still be here in 2010, in 2011? That I can't say. It really depends on each and every person's mindset. As I said, I do predict some will depart the fandom, but I do predict some will stay. However, naturally, they won't be doing any more analysis on new episodes of MLP. There will not be any new episodes. And so, they could still do analysis on other older episodes that they've never done before. But I do see it being a bit of a problem for some to stay doing things like that MLP based whenever there is no new content. However, for the existing members of the community that will still crank out new fan-made content, that could still be a focus of these existing channels on YouTube. They could do analysis on fan-made animations, maybe on fan fiction, things like that. They could still do things like that. And there could still be videos, of course, talking about the fandom itself and about theories about what could happen in the future. And that's also something that I predict, is that while some people within the community, brony analysts, fanfiction writers, animators, artists, musicians, while some of these will depart from the fandom and move on to other things, and some will stay with the current G4 of MLP, I do predict that though some of those and others as well will also stick with their current self. They'll stick with their name. They'll keep everything the same because they will remain hopeful for what G5 brings. Because G5 may possibly be something that we will love just as much as just as much as G4. Whether we'll love it more than G4 or not, I really doubt that, especially for me. But love it as much, there is a very good possibility. And so, many of us will stay hopeful for what G5 brings. And so, the channel names, account names, the focus of content, it will stay the same because they will remain hopeful for what G5 may bring. That is also something I predict. Will G5 keep the fandom alive? I know that's another question that some people may have. Is will G5 keep the fandom alive? Yeah, make that like a hashtag. Will G5 keep the fandom alive? I don't know. Right now, we know nothing really, at least I don't know anything about what may happen in G5. I did read that G5 was supposedly supposed to be CGI. I'm already very skeptical about that because I more favor traditional animation and flash-based animation than I do CGI. I'm not against CGI, I just more prefer traditional animation, hand-drawn animation, cell animation, and flash-based animation. I more prefer that over CGI. But depending, however, I do like CGI, and there are some good examples, or there are some great examples of whenever it's done right, and then there are examples of whenever it's done bad. What will G5 bring? I'm not sure. I'm hoping that many of the creative minds that are on G4 may hopefully be part of G5. Or at least I'm hoping, at the very least, that maybe some of the people within the fandom went on to work for Hasbro, and they are the ones that are going to be working on G5. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one, everyone. But will G5 bring back the fandom? Yes and no again. This is a yes and no answer. The fandom, even with G5, let's just say that G5 does make its debut very shortly after G4 ends. Let's go by the theory and say G4 ends. Let's say G4 ends in October. whenever it premiered 9 years ago. And in 2020, in spring, theorizing, or summer, G5 begins. G5 will keep the fandom alive to a degree, but it won't be like it has been. I truly believe that the fandom that we have now, that we have been in, that we have had, will always be for G4. But we will accept G5 and expand the fandom to include that. I do not believe that G5 will take over G4 as the fandom. Instead, if anything, the MLP fandom will expand. I predict that one of two things will happen. I predict two things will happen, and this varies from person to person. One is the fandom will expand to not just be about G4, but also to bring in G5. And it will focus on both together. But I also predict that there will be a new fandom that will rise up for G5. Whether it will be as big as the fandom for G4, I don't know. Will it be as big as the Friendship is Magic fandom? I would be afraid to say on that. I kind of would predict, no. I'm not saying that G5 would not have the storytelling capabilities that G4 has had. I really believe that it could. It just depends on the storytellers. It depends on the writers. But I do believe that it will have a fandom. How many of the existing bronies and Pegasisters for G4 will be a part of that fandom? I'm not sure. I know there will be some, but I'm not sure. That's the same way with Littlest Pet Shop. There were some fans of MLP that liked Littlest Pet Shop as well. And so there is still a bit of a small sub-fandom for that. But will G5 continue? Like I said, I do predict that some people, artists, possibly musicians, fanfiction writers, and even brony analysts here on YouTube will continue to keep their channels and to keep everything going as they will transition from G4 to G5. I do predict that. So, some people I know have wondered before, what will happen to brony analysts whenever G4 is over? You know, if you begin to focus forward on something else, what happens whenever the show ends? How can you always be a brony analyst whenever the show is over? Again, G5 is supposed to make its debut, sometime later after G4 is over. So I don't see brony analysts being a thing of the past anytime soon, and I'm so happy for that. But again, I do truly believe that G4 will always be a part of us. We will always hold on to what G4 was and still what it is, because it has brought a lot to us. It has made a lot of us what we are. I, just myself for an example, and there's tons of people out there that can also say the exact same thing. We wouldn't be who we are or where we are if it wasn't for MLP, if it wasn't for the fandom. I love the show. I love the fandom. And being a part of this fandom has been just such a joy for me. And I'm happy and proud to still say that I am a part of it. And I want to be there all the way through the very end. And I wouldn't be, right now, 31,000 subscribers, almost 32,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much, by the way. But that many subscribers, and I owe a lot of that to the brony community, to the show, because it's a huge part of who I am, of what I am, and it's something that I will always be, and I'm not ashamed of that. I predict that there will always be brony analysts. Maybe not to the degree that there is now, that there has been. But I predict that there will still be a few people out there who will continue to review and analyze the episodes of G5 in the future. I seriously doubt that there will be any new reviews or analysis for things regarding MLP4 regarding the show in the future. But I do predict that there will be reviews and analysis for G5 whenever that comes out. And how many of the Brony analysts and such that are part of the community now will still be there whenever G5 premieres? How many of them will still be there after a year? I don't know. It depends on whether they like it or not. But I do predict that there will still be some that will stick around, that will still give reviews and analysis. And I can only say that, and I would request this, and I'm asking this on behalf of a lot of other people in the community. I'm asking this to every single person, every single Brony analyst, every single Brony and Pegasister here on YouTube, every single musician, every fan fiction writer, every artist, please, every animator, please, do not delete your work. Even whenever MLP ends, please keep your content up, because it will be a way for us to reminisce, a way for us to go back in time and relive those wonderful memories that we have. Please don't take that away from us. We want to preserve it. I want to preserve it. So please, keep it up. So, I do predict that there will be people that will leave the fandom. Pardon me. I do predict there will be people that will depart from the fandom. People that are still in the fandom now, that may still be in the fandom after the show ends. But I do know that there are going to be people that are still going to be part of the fandom in two ways. And that's something, again, that I can guarantee. Number one, there will be people that will hold on, eagerly awaiting G5 to see what it brings. And remaining hopeful that they will have something new to review, something new to analyze, myself included. Because I want to be, I consider myself, I don't know how many other people do, but I consider myself a Brony analyst. And so I'm looking forward to it because I would like to be able to continue as well. And so, like many, I'm remaining hopeful for what G5 may bring. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'm remaining hopeful for what it may bring. And I will certainly give it a shot. I will certainly give it a chance. But I know that people will also. I know for a fact, though, regardless, even though we will have people depart from the fandom, and the fandom may dwindle, the fandom may die down a little, the fandom may die down some, I do believe the fandom will always continue to exist, to a degree. Because there will be people like myself that will hold on to the show, that will hold on to the fandom, and will hold on to the people within this fandom. Even if some of you go on to do your own thing, regardless, there will still be those of us, again, myself included, that will still hold on to the show and will still hold on to this fandom. And we'll still keep that alive. There will be those that will still keep it alive. It will never die. Look right now, again, Kim Possible, Danny Phantom. There are tons of other shows out there that have been gone for so long. Rocco's Modern Life. Hey Arnold. Recess. There are still fan fictions being wrote about those. There's still fan fiction and fan art. There will always be fans. That's a guarantee. Regardless of how many years pass after after G4 is over, there will always be fans. There will always be fans out there, creative fans, And that's a beautiful thing. That is a truly wonderful and beautiful thing. There is always going to be creative minds out there that is going to crank out something great. Even a decade after G4 is over, there is still going to be some brand new work out there that somebody will make. That's a guarantee. And so, there will always be fans of MLP. Just because the show will be over doesn't mean fans won't exist anymore. We will still continue to exist, myself included. There will still be those that will still do things within the fandom. And there will be those who will try to keep the fandom alive. What will happen, and this is a question I myself ask, what will happen to the conventions, to BronyCon, to Everfree Northwest, just to BabsCon, to many of the other conventions? I hate to think about it, but I predict that they too will come to an end. Because as time goes on, you know, with the show, with no more new episodes, people will begin, there will be some people that will begin to lose interest. There will be no new episodes to keep them going, to keep fueling that fire, that passion within them. And so they'll lose interest. And they'll decide, I'm not going to do it this year. I'm done. And I do see the conventions coming to an end. I do see that. It would really surprise me if some of them don't, and I honestly wish that they would keep going. I really do. But I don't want to live on false hope. I would rather believe that they would come to an end and then be surprised whenever they don't, than to remain hopeful that they'll continue to exist and then I find out that they won't. I'd rather try to focus on what may be the inevitable than to live on false hope and be disappointed later on. And so, the time that we have at these conventions these next 2 years, I want everyone to cherish those memories, to cherish those moments, because that may be our last. And I personally want to say to everybody who has made every single con possible over the past 6 years, thank you to everybody that have made these cons possible. That you've done such a great thing. Thank you. And I hope that the conventions continue, but we'll just have to wait and see. But there will be people, like I said, that will continue. There will be people, I do predict that. There will still be analysts, reviewers that will continue to review the new episodes of G5 whenever that comes out. There will be people that have done artwork for G4 who will begin to do artwork for G5. There will be people that have done fanfiction for G4 that will begin to do fanfiction for G5. Musicians that have done music for G4 will move on to do things for G5. Some will leave the past of G4 behind them and begin to focus on G5. Some will depart, not even looking at G5, and they will just depart and never look back at all. Others, however, will stick around. They'll stay. And G4 will be a part of their past, but it'll be, moving on to G5. It's essentially like playing one game, loving it to death, and then moving on to its sequel. You love it, but each one has a very special place in your heart. Just for example, I'm just going to use this as an example. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. For some it's Halo, for some it's Mass Effect, for some it's Metal Gear, just to name a few. You love the different titles, but each one has a special place in your heart in its own way. One does not replace the other. There are good and bad aspects of both, but both have their own special place in your heart. And both places are reserved for each. We will never forget G4. We will never forget Friendship is Magic. It holds a special place in many of our hearts. And nothing will ever take the place of that. Nothing will ever replace that. It will always be there. It will always be a part of us. Nothing will ever stomp over that. Nothing will ever take its place. Even if we love G5, G4 will always be a part of us. G4 will always be there. And we will always be able to look back at G4 and remember how much we loved it, because we'll still love it. I really believe that. It's just like other games that you've played right now. Even the older titles, you still love that first one. And you don't forget it. You go back to it. You play it. You relive those memories. In a sense, video games is no different really than right now with MLP. G4 is the first. G5 is the sequel. We're just waiting on the sequel to come out. But regardless, G4 will always be one of our favorite titles. Even if G5 becomes a favorite title too, it will be its own. It will be a favorite title in its own way. Different than G4, but still its own special way. And I really believe that. And finally, I know some people are wondering what will become. Some people may be wondering what are my plans. I have a few different things in mind. First and foremost, I want to reassure people that I am and will always be a brony. There will never be a moment in the future whenever I am not a brony. I will always be a brony. That is a title that I hold proud to. I hold that dearly, and I stand by that. And I stand proudly with that title. I am a brony, and I am not ashamed to say that. I love this show. I love this fandom. This fandom is amazing. I'm a part of multiple fandoms, and I have never in any of the fandoms that I've been in have I seen such creativity, have I seen such genius minds, such creativity, such talent. I'm a Disney fan, and I can tell you right now, even though I've read some really amazing fan fiction, and there are some really genius minds that write Disney fan fiction. One of my best friends is one of them. As a Disney fan, I'm envious. I can't help but be jealous of the MLP fandom because of the creativity. You would be surprised how hard it is to find some really good, fantastic Disney fan art. Instead of just people putting mouse ears on their head and putting a picture up of themselves and calling themselves that character. That's not fan art. That's a selfie. But I can't help but be jealous. The MLP fandom is one of the most creative, genius, and talented fandoms that I have ever been in. It is the most talented, the most creative, the most genius fandom that I have ever been in. And it is also one of the most amazing. I love this fandom. There are so many amazing people within this fandom. It's just mind-blowing. The talent, the creativity, the works of art, the music, the incredible, beautiful music, the amazing, deep fan fiction, the beautiful, artistic artwork, the amazing, high-quality animations, the brilliant minds. the brilliant minds, the analysts, reviewers, the reactors. There are so many brilliant minds and just amazing, friendly, wonderful people out there. Why on earth would I ever leave them or that behind? Not going to happen, guys. I'm here for good. I'm not leaving. I've made my home here, and I'm happy. This fandom is a part of me now, and I'm a part of it. And I don't want to get rid of that. I'm staying. I'm here for good. Again, I am a proud brony, even once MLP 4 ends. MLP 4, I keep saying that. That makes the second time. G4 ends. I'm still going to be a brony. I don't want there to ever be a doubt in people's minds about what I'm going to be in the future, about what will be the future of my channel. I can say that there are new things that I want to do on my channel. I've been wanting to get into gaming on my channel for a long time now, and I haven't got a good gaming PC yet, but as soon as I can get a good gaming PC, I really want to start doing some gaming on my channel. I also want to get a PS4 and get a recording device, game capture device, Elgato or whatever, to be able to record, or maybe get another TV so that I could record on my PS3. But I really want to get into some gaming on my channel. There are lots of games out there that I really want to play, that I'm dying to play, that I really want to get into, and I'd like to be able to share my experience on my channel with you guys. Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts 3, Burnout Paradise Remastered, heck yeah! And just to name a few. Just to name a few. There are tons of others too. There are other games on the PC that I really want to play and experience. There are lots of games out there. But I don't have the systems. I don't have the console. And I really want to get into gaming on my channel. I want to play GTA 5 and play the LSPDFR. I want to play American Truck Simulator. And I really want to get into that. I'm dying to get into that. And I want to do more gaming on my channel. I want to experience that. I really want to branch out and do more gaming on my channel. But I don't want people to think that I'm going to put the past of MLP behind me. That is not going to happen. I will always be a brony. Even later, like 2 or 3 years, whatever, even after MLP, I started to say MLP 4 again, G4 is over. I don't ever want there to be a moment whenever someone has to come to me, I don't want there to ever be a moment whenever someone comments on a video and says, "Are you still a brony?" I don't ever want that moment to happen. Because I want to reassure you now, I am a brony for life. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me what people think. I'm still a brony. I am dedicated to this. I am part of this, and I'm not going anywhere. I love the show. I love the fandom. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to stay. I don't care if whenever the show ends, if I'm the last one standing. I want to see where that road goes. This has been, over the past 7 years now, this has been one heck of a ride. But this road isn't over. This journey isn't over yet. And I want to see what's at the end of that road. I want to travel down that road to the main end, and I want to see what lies beyond. I want to see what lies beyond. I want to reach the end of that road. I want to be one of them. I want to be one of those that whenever it's all over, I can turn around and look behind me and say, it was a heck of a ride, but I made it all the way. And I'm still here. And then I want to be able to look forward. I want to be able to hold on to the past and remember that journey. But I want to be able to look forward and be ready hold my head high, and be ready and willing for what lies ahead. I will never shun the past or put it behind me, because it's been wonderful. I want to embrace that and carry that with me, because there's been a lot of things that I've learned, that I've seen, that I want to carry with me. I will always be a brony. That is a guarantee. I'm dedicated to this. That's what I am. That's who I am. I will always be that. There will never be a moment whenever I am not. And so if there's been 20 videos of mine or 50 videos of mine that I've uploaded in a row and they don't have anything to do with MLP, I don't want anybody to question, are you still a brony? Yes, I am, and I will be. That is a guarantee. I will always be a brony. I am a brony for life. That's a guarantee. And so, even though I want to branch out and do more, expand and do more content on my channel, I will always be a brony. There will always be something MLP related on my channel. Always. If nothing else, my avatar, I plan on keeping my avatar my OC. That avatar down below, that is going to stay. I don't plan on getting rid of my avatar. My avatar is always going to be my OC. My avatar is always going to be a pony. I don't plan on changing it. I know that I changed my name from Ponyville Ranger to Ranger Bravo on my YouTube channel, but I did that because I wanted something a bit more versatile. I knew that I wanted to expand and do more on the channel, and so I wanted something that would work with any kind of content on my channel that I did. I wanted to have something versatile for any kind of content. Even though I changed that, I don't care for people to still refer to me as Ponyville Ranger. That is still a name that I hold to. And that is still my name on my other media accounts. My fan fiction and fan fiction writing accounts, my DeviantArt. My name is still Ponyville Ranger, and I'm not changing it. I will always be Ponyville Ranger, but I am also Ranger Bravo. Again, I changed it to have something more versatile for different content. I didn't change it because I was ashamed. Lord knows I'm not. I changed it to have something more versatile because I knew I wanted to focus forward on the channel, on what I could do in the future, on what I wanted to do. And I wanted to have something versatile for anything. But regardless, my avatar is always going to be my OC. And there will always be something MLP on my channel. I can guarantee you that. And I know in the future, I predict that there is going to be somebody that is going to comment like they just started watching my videos, watched maybe several videos, and then suddenly they saw an MLP-based video, and I expect that. I imagine there's going to be somebody that's going to comment and be like, oh, you're a brony? Duh. Did the avatar not give it away? Hello? Yes, I'm a brony. Now, I can't stop that from happening, you know. But to the people that have been a part of my channel, who have followed me for a long time now, or for a little while anyway, I'm still a brony. I am proud of that. I am happy. I'm always going to be a brony. That's not going to change. I'm not ashamed. And I'm not going to stop being a brony just because somebody thinks it's stupid or somebody thinks it's retarded or gay or whatever. I don't care. If you don't like it, that's cool. You know, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. But I love it. It's a part of who I am. It's a part of what I want to be. Same thing for Disney as well. You know, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I'm a Supernatural fan. I'm not sure what Supernatural... I don't know what Supernatural fans call themselves, but I'm a Whovian. Disney fans don't really have anything. Diz fans, maybe? I don't know. But still, I'm a part of that. And I love it. and I'm just now getting into and I've just recently been getting into the amazing world of Gumball. I love that too. It's really cool. I love the show. And I also think Unikitty is awesome. It really helps that Tara Strong voices Unikitty, but yeah, it's a cool show too. Very, very, very cute. But still, regardless, while I do want to expand, like I said, I want to do gaming on my channel. I want to do more model kit videos on my channel too. I'd like to do maybe some more vlogs, like I've done before. I haven't done very many. And I also want to do more videos like this right here too, you know, discussion-based videos, topic-based videos. As I was saying, I still want to do videos like this as well, that, you know, topic-based, subject-based videos that hopefully would encourage open and hopefully civilized discussion in the comments. But, again, even though I still want to expand, there will still be, again, I'm still a brony, and I still will be a brony. But that are my thought. That is my thoughts on MLP, the future of it, and the fandom itself. So, hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have, you know, any thoughts you want to have, any thoughts you do have, anything you want to add, you want to share, please feel free to do so in the comments below. But again, thank you guys again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. And again, let me know what you guys think. But thank you again for joining me, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.